The United Kingdom's Ministry of Defense latest intelligence update on Ukraine, August 11, 2023. On August 7, 2023, the Belarusian Ministry of Defense announced that the 6th Separate Guards Mechanized Brigade had begun battalion-level exercises focused on liberating captured territory. The ministry said the exercise intended to incorporate lessons learned by the Russian military in Ukraine. There is a possibility that the Belarusian troops will be joined by a small number of Wagner Group advisors acting in a training role. However, these specific exercises are likely part of the routine training cycle for the Belarusian military. The 6th Separate Guards Mechanized Brigade's home garrison is in Grodno, and it is unlikely the formation is currently deployed with the enablers needed to make it combat-ready. Russia is almost certainly eager to portray Belarusian forces as posturing against North Atlantic alliance, but the exercises are unlikely to represent a credible offensive threat in the near future. They appear intended more for propaganda purposes and to pressure Ukraine. The Air Force Command of Ukraine update. Russia launched 4 Kinzhal ballistic missiles today from MiG-31K jets over Russia, marking another major missile strike on Ukraine's critical infrastructure. Around 10 a.m., the missiles were fired from the Tula and Lipetsk regions and entered Ukraine from the north, targeting the Kolomaya airfield in Ivano-Frankivsk. Ukraine's air defenses intercepted and neutralized 1 missile over the Kyiv region. The remaining 3 missiles struck the vicinity of the airfield, damaging civilian infrastructure. Tragically, a child was killed and others injured by the missile strikes near Kolomaya, according to local authorities. Russia continues to ruthlessly target civilians, even as its missile stockpiles dwindle. While the Kinzhal is among Russia's most advanced air-launched weapons, Ukraine has demonstrated its ability to intercept even high-speed ballistic missiles. However, Russia's willingness to continue expending its limited precision munitions highlights its desperate attempts to degrade Ukraine's defenses. The Institute for the Study of War Russian Offensive Campaign Assessment. The Ukrainian military continued to make gains in western Zaporizhia Oblast on August 11th, advancing towards the strategic town of Robotyne despite fierce Russian resistance. New footage confirms Ukrainian troops reached the northern outskirts of Robotyne, just 10 kilometers from the key city of Orikhiv. While the extent and permanence of Ukraine's positions in Robotyne remain unclear, this represents a tactically significant advance after weeks of persistent Ukrainian attacks aimed at degrading Russian defenses in the area. Capturing Robotyne, which Russia has dedicated major resources to defending, would be a breakthrough for Ukraine even if initial gains are limited. Further north, Ukraine pushed into the settlement of Urazhaini near the Donetsk-Zaporizhia border. Russian military bloggers acknowledged Ukraine had forced Russian troops to retreat from parts of Urazhaini on August 10-11. According to Ukraine's general staff, counteroffensives also continued across the Bakhmut, Berdyansk, and Melitopol sectors. Overall, Ukraine appears to be maintaining pressure across multiple fronts, seeking to capitalize on recent momentum, despite Russia's efforts to halt its advances. The Institute for the Study of War key takeaways today. Ukraine's counteroffensive in western Zaporizhia is forcing Russia to redeploy troops from other areas to defend the sector, indicating the operation is degrading overall Russian defenses. Further thinning lines elsewhere creates opportunities for Ukrainian breakthroughs. Russia appears to be escalating attacks near Kupiansk to divert Ukrainian forces from more vital frontline areas. However, Ukraine is maintaining pressure across multiple fronts. Russia conducted more missile strikes across Ukraine, targeting airfields for the second time in a week. But its reliance on Iranian drones highlights supply shortfalls. The Wagner Group's murky withdrawal from Belarus underscores personnel strains amid its expanded role. Meanwhile, Russia's interior ministry is understaffed, especially in occupied territories. Russia is likely scapegoating mid-level officers for Ukrainian shelling of its border areas rather than acknowledging systemic military weaknesses. Fighting continues along the Kupiansk-Svatov-Kremina line and around Bakhmut and Avdiivka, but Ukraine made advances south towards Zaporizhia and in the Donbas border region. Russia has begun producing modified Iranian drones to potentially sustain or increase the tempo of strikes on Ukraine. Moscow is staging sham elections in occupied regions to provide a veneer of legitimacy and competitiveness.